Alrighty, let's see. So here, Tracer, like, what is the value in being here? Like, first and foremost, like, I'm just gonna keep this on a little bit, but like, I don't really see the value in like what Tracer is getting here versus like if they were checking a bush or even just if they were here, like, I don't know, being under towers. But it's not a big deal, like, that's not really a huge critical decision. How did he say that? Rutzou? Is that what I heard? is that really how I'm supposed to say that? It doesn't sound good for more Method Madness. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's already contracted. Because, I mean, like, even Tespa kind of fell apart, but still, like, not Tespa. Even Here's the Dorm and Blizz Esports kind of fell apart, but we still have that. I don't know. Who knows? Whoopee. Let's see. So far here, like, I just want to point out, like, this Tracer has done, like, I don't know. I was going to say, for a second I was going to be like, Tracer's done very little down here and could have ganked the offlane. But if Tracer ganks the offlane right here, then bot side, they just invade siege camp every single time. So I actually think it's good that they stayed bot side. That recall accomplished absolutely nothing. Like, recall has a shorter CD than before, but you still can't just, like, recall for no reason because you're still for 20 seconds, like, not able to be nearly as aggressive or defensive. So far, there's not like a lot to criticize in terms of action. It's more about like inaction, but I don't really expect much in the first minute and a half of the game. Let's go back into it. Like I said, not a lot to like hate on. It's just very minor things of like, oh, this could have been better. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, it's not a lot. I'm gonna watch this at like 1.5. See, just getting some damage on mid. I actually really like that. Also, not getting power slid, but there was a lot of time he could have been on Poik, but got zoned off of ETC. I think if he blinked past the ETC rather than away from the ETC, they would have killed Poik a lot faster, and that kill would have been more secure. But it's understandable, like, to just blink away naturally. I do it all the time. I can't play Jaina, I die too much. Yeah, I get jebaited and run in too close, and then her short range just murders me. Let's see. So I just want to point out again, this is something that you see a lot, and as Tracer, it's very often going to be your job, is to do the camps. Typically, what you'll very, very often see is that out of your two DPS picks, the one that has less wave clear is the one that's doing the camp with your healer. And then the other one can just make sure that they're still taking care of minion waves and whatnot. And that's what we're seeing from both teams right now. Jaina going back to base, but still, Jaina's not the one going to camp. Zool, the exact same deal. Zool's not the one on camp. Vala, the less of the wave clear, is going to the bruisers. Same thing on Lauber's Fanclub. Tracer, the less of the wave clear, is going to her bruisers. And so as Tracer, that's very often going to be your job. And it's actually, even though you're not very good at killing bruiser camps, like, even though you're not insane at killing bruiser camps, or just minion camps, mercenary camps in general, even though you're not insane at killing mercenary camps in general, the fact that it takes you off the map is very valuable, because now you're threatening ganks. Now you're threatening, like, if you're off the map doing a camp, the enemy team doesn't know if you're ganking them or if you're doing a camp. So you automatically threaten players, like, right off the bat. That's actually so valuable. So let me see here. Dang, that sucks. I feel like he probably could have stuck around for like another auto attack and won that. 2 more auto attacks and Chris dies here. He gets down to like 20 health. So 1 auto attack would have done the trick. I'm pretty sure that literally was just recalling too soon. Was why he missed that kill. And that really sucks because now Chris is back in here with full health. So that would have actually made a really, really big difference in this first objective. I'm hearing Rutzou, so I guess I'll say it like that. Is there a scenario where instead of getting a camp, you would change it up for a gank? Absolutely. Like, if you can get a guaranteed kill, then you might as well get the kill and then get the camp. Like, if someone's like hella out of position, then yeah, go for it. Let's see. I feel like Tracer could have been on this. I don't know. So very often, and what may have been the case here, although they have Joe, so maybe just Joe baited it, but very often as Tracer on Infernal Shrines, your job is to bait the Punisher over the wall. because you can dodge the Punisher jump without taking any damage. If it targets you for the jump and then you blink out of the way, you will completely avoid the damage. Let me see here. I need to watch this fight again. So Rutzou goes in. He's taking a lot of unnecessary damage from Vala here. So there's one thing I always say as Tracer you should be doing, and I'm going to pull out my diagrams I love so much for this one. There's one thing as Tracer that I say is like a good play a whole lot. Like say this yellow circle is you. It doesn't really contrast very well. Say this green circle is you. And say like, you know, purple is enemy tank. And like red is enemy backline. So you've got like you tank back line. Like you should be shooting like this. You know what I mean? Like you should be shooting in such a way that you and the people that can hit you are on opposite sides of the fight. Okay? You want basically to minimize the amount of people that are nearby you to just one person that can't hurt you. So, like to bring that into the example, I just tabbed into HOTS out of habit. So like right here, okay, like we're going to use this as an example because this is literally the exact situation I just drew. All right, like here, Rutzou spends this whole time hitting Wubby, yet for some reason does it from like right here instead of right here. And so then Chris just shreds him down because Chris can hit him right here, but Chris can't hit him all the way on the other side of Leoric. And so he actually gets dropped to half health for like no reason because he keeps Chris in his range. Like Tracer doesn't want her teammates nearby because you want the enemy team to have to choose between throwing skill shots at you that may not land or throwing them at your team. If you're on top of your team, they just throw everything at your team. So you'll take collateral damage if you're standing next to your teammates. You don't want to be on top of your teammates. You don't really want to be up in the enemy's grill either. You want to minimize the amount of people that can hurt you. So very often, like, you know, you've got a person here, like let's just draw like circles where everybody is. Like this is where everybody is. And then like you want to stay away from the tank. It's like here, that's a no-go. Like here's a no-go. Here, this is a no-go because Vala can hit you. The other one is a no-go because ETC can hit you. But like here, it's super good because only the Leoric is in range. You're not on top of your teammates. You're not in range of the ETC. You're not in range of the Vala or anything. Like this is the way to go. But instead you're going to see that Rutzou is going to go on like kind of the left side here, especially right there, and just kind of switch off of Leoric onto Vala, start taking damage. And he just keeps Chris in his range and takes so much unnecessary damage for it, forces out his recall, and forces the fight to stop early. Whereas if he kept only Leoric in his range, he could have free hit the Leoric so much more, not had to lose half his health, not had to blow his recall. And then you're realistically looking at either doing more damage or even threatening a kill. Let's see. Europe review, cool. Yeah, I mean, Method Madness is probably the highest level Heroes of the Storm. Isn't that just a thing for most DPS characters? I mean, some bad bros, but not all. I talked about this earlier, okay? But Tracer is really bad at trading damage with other ranged assassins. Okay, like Tracer is really, really bad at it because she has to stay in range the whole time. Okay? Whereas other ranged assassins, you can kind of auto-space, is like the term. It's kind of a memed-on term at times, but it is the term. So you can like dip into range, pew, and then you can just start your attack animation. The second the projectile leaves your gun, turn and start walking away, and then go back in, start your attack animation, turn. And so they spend less time in effective range than you do. And so Tracer has to stay in range all the time. Other ranged assassins effectively have longer range than her, even if they both have 5.5. This is Method Mayhem, yeah. No, I said Method Madness, which is a mix of the two terms. Meta Madness is a different thing. Yeah, this is Method Mayhem. So what's it called? But yeah, like Tracer's really bad at trading into other ranged assassins, which is why Tracer wants to play like this, where you just want to make like other heroes. This isn't necessarily the case. Like Lunara, very often, if you're getting into a 1v1 with another ranged assassin, you are in really good shape as Lunara, in particular. Other ranged assassins might want to be closer to their team especially if you're very immobile, then you don't want to be out on the side, okay? Like again, we're just going to pull up paint because I love paint. We're going to pull up paint here, okay? And say you've got your team blue, blue, blue. This is just generally like how your team is set up. Enemy team is red circles. This is like how you're set up. As Tracer, you kind of want to be like here. Like on the side, you know, like say like these are the tanks and these are the back lines. Like these outer circles are the back lines. Like you kind of want to be on the side harassing a tank like this. And if you think you can get a kill on the ranged assassin, you can go past the tanks and go in on the ranged assassin. Whereas if you're here as Gul'dan, you're trolling. Like you're just straight trolling if you're up here as Gul'dan. Or as anybody that's very immobile. You want to be way closer to your teammates. Like if you're a Jaina or you're a Gul'dan or a Kael'thas, you're probably looking at being like more around here. If you're Tracer, who's very squishy, who doesn't want to trade into other ranged assassins, who has a lot of mobility, then a lot of times you want to be on the side. Over here, ensuring that you're not near anybody else. Because like Gul'dan, if he's sitting here harassing from the side as Gul'dan, he just dies. If they try to go in on you, like if you get power slid by this ETC at max range, you just blink it, power slide is wasted, and now they have no CDs, and you just win the fight. Like straight up. So like, no, this is not the case for every ranged assassin, is the short answer. My hero lineup is ETC, Diablo, that's a lot of characters. Is there any hero you recommend that could fill any gaps in, or heroes you recommend to start learning? I'm literally always going to say Johanna, Jaina, Rhaegar. Like, I see you have Rhaegar in there. Pick up the other two. Alrighty. Let's see, what else do we got here? I've seen mages hump the tank. It's so frustrating, for sure. You don't want mages to be like right up next to your tank, but you want them to be behind your tank. Whereas ETC, you want to be, or Tracer, you want her to be doing her own thing. Like legit Tracer very often wants to be on the side of the fight, whereas like Gul'dan often wants to be in the back of the fight. And those are different things. Let's see. Tracer here, the build all makes sense. 1-2 punch into pulse generator and locked and loaded. It's the 10 where this really makes a big difference. I don't know if he had picked his 10 yet by the time we saw talents. Ooh, that's a quantum spike. It kind of makes sense. So quantum spike, the only reason you want it is if your team is getting kills by going all in on bursts, which very much they might be because they have just a very blow up centric comp. So I think it makes sense within this comp. The enemy team has a Malfurion with no burst save. So like Malfurion, one of his biggest weaknesses is that he just doesn't have any anti-burst as a hero, as a healer. So very often you either need to draft Malf into teams that don't have a lot of burst damage, or you need to draft him with something that has anti-burst, like a Zarya or Medivh, or there's plenty of different options in this kind of thing. And so this is a Malf with nothing on his team to prevent burst damage, except maybe Leoric post 13 and 16 with his E damage reduction. And on the other side, you have a lot of like, just, okay, we're going to blow you up really fast. We're just going to snap stuns on you and blow you up from Lauber's Fanclub. So if they play to that playstyle, then I think this Quantum Spike pick makes sense. Let's see. Overall, though, I think you should be picking pulse rounds most games as Tracer, especially when your teammates aren't going to be coordinated with you about getting burst kills. Then you should just be going pulse rounds. Fairly good with Jaina, however, Johanna playstyle seems different. I'm not sure how to properly play her. Johanna, clear minion waves. Like, just clear minion waves. When you want to fight, press R. And then press your abilities on a bunch of characters. Like, press E on the auto attackers, press W when there's like a bunch of people, press Q when there's a bunch of people. That'll get you to at least plat before you start thinking about like how to use the abilities in depth. Alrighty.
Shift into one or the other direction until we have like a very even battle with them trading kills. But if the blue team takes another objective, they should be able to walk away with significant structure damage this time. So Shrine is active, the sign to jump in is going to be a Mortar Punisher, by the way. And here's where the wave clear comes through. Wooby is already working on minion stacks for the last dance. It's kill against 0 right now.
Not a whole lot to talk about so far. I don't see, again, like I said, like Quantum Spike makes sense here if you're using it as a coordinated burst pickoff tool. If you're throwing it on a 60% health Leoric, that is absolutely not the case. Like, I highly doubt, like, Leoric was called out as the kill target by your team. maybe this was a finger slip, but I just think it was a bad choice to bomb there. Whereas, like, if they were pulse rounds, then that would totally make sense. But those bombs do not come nearly as fast with Quantum Spike. It's a good dodge at Mosh Pit. Is that recall necessary? Kinda, yeah. No, that made sense. It just looked a little awkward at first, but that play actually makes sense. Audio equalization, lack of, is kind of annoying. That was a good play. Like, they were just over here, and then their teammates called for the kill. That was good stuff right there. Just following up, recalling out so that they didn't get, like, wrecked by any CC from the blue team. Clearing out base. Dude, this game already is, like, it's crazy that they're already level 12. Like, I feel like I just started watching it. Good poke damage on Breeze here. I like that, because, like, if they were to, I don't know, you start getting damage on them. If they go in on you, then they just die because you've got Blaze rotating in, and if they don't go in on you, then you get free damage. I feel like Rutzou should have died here. God, this was so greedy. Like, why are you staying in the pit, is my question. Why not just start? I guess they were staying in the pit to get the light bomb over the wall, but, like, it was in range, like, I don't know. I guess that makes sense. They stayed in the corner to get light bomb without dying to Jaina right here, or whoever that was, Vala, and then get out. Yeah, that makes sense. Subdue is amazing. Subdue is huge. Gotten a diamond too with primarily Diablo, Jaina, and Imperius. I like those heroes the most due to playstyle, so start learning Johanna. What's your opinion on learning Anduin for like a second healer? I think Anduin is more niche than most healers. Or niche, if that's how you prefer. I think that if you're talking about healers that are going to fit a lot of situations, you're talking about Deckard, you're talking about Rhaegar, you're talking about Ana, you're talking about Lucio. Like, I think that Anduin will not give you as much return. Speed seem faster? I mean, yeah, I'm running it at 1.5. Let's see. Don't underestimate how good her Q is, yeah. Johanna Q is insane. Like, it's basically a root with Subdue. It's obscene. Let's see. I feel like nothing has happened. Like, legit, I feel like nothing has happened so far. Did he face check the bush with Blink? What was that little maneuver right there? What was that? I don't understand. That had to be like they thought they were playing a different character, tried to cue the bush, and then realized they were playing Tracer. Like, I've done stuff like that. I have no other explanation. I also think that looked like Jumper picked for a Tracer here, which I don't understand, because, like, to me, Jumper, it's about mobility. Like, Jumper gives you mobility, and the shields are good for trading. And for those of you who don't know, Jumper is that when you're out of blink charges, you recharge your blink faster, and also that every time you blink, you get a very small shield. That shield doesn't really do a whole lot to stop you from getting bursted, but it does do a lot to help you win trades versus other characters, and the mobility also helps you kite forever to abuse your auto-attacking. That's not really the playstyle that Rutzou has been playing here, nor is it what he's building for. So I don't really understand the decision to go Jumper. Maybe he thinks that it'll just be more consistent than Untouchable, because Untouchable does scale a little bit off of getting kills, but the thing is, Untouchable literally is like good with like 1 or 2 kills. Then again, there are only 2 kills total by this point, by like level 15 for the red team here. There are only 2 kills in this game. So the decision kind of makes sense for me. Jumper, it's not great here, but I think that they just figured that they couldn't count on getting untouchable value at all. And at that point, Jumper's going to do more for you, so that pick makes sense to me.
Here's where it's going to be hard for them to escape. Like we said, they already have the frost shots, but now with that Zool at level 16, it's basically impossible for them to escape that Decrepify. 30% slow on Skeletal Warriors, Spectral Scythe, and of course you have those mages.
That's a bugged icon. No, that's an old icon. I'm pretty sure that's the old Jumper icon before they changed him. And so that's Bullet Spray, and I don't... Why? Like... Bullet Spray basically has 2 main uses, okay? Bullet Spray, for those of you who don't know, increases your melee radius a little bit, and it also makes your melee hit in an AoE. Bullet Spray is good for like 2 things. Bullet Spray gives you AoE damage, obviously, for things like Wave Clear and for Shrine Clear right here, but also bullet spray means that your melee target can never be stolen. Like if you're trying to, because melee just hits the closest enemy to you, prioritizing heroes. So if there's like one hero like right up on you and one hero a little bit off of you and you want to melee that hero, you're SOL. Like you can't do anything about it. Bullet spray stops that from happening. You will always damage your intended target because you're damaging everything around you. So it can be really, really good if you're playing for like short fights, but the thing is heavy-handed is also insane for short fights, the minus armor for bursting people. And bullet spray also has a pretty significant bug that can actually lower the amount of pulse bomb charge you get when you have that active, versus if you just didn't have the talent at all. I just don't see the Shrine clear when you already have Jaina Blaze Johanna on your team as being worth it. I don't see the burst damage as being worth it when it's competing with heavy-handed. I think this bullet spray pick is just kind of troll.
We have 60 versus 16. That's actually a big game changer here.
Let's see.
Successfully soaked the next talent before the fight. Now we still have our
Like I just don't see any redeeming qualities for it.
towards the bottom of the map, but this is really the fight for the Fanclub. They got the kills, but they are still
Let's
starting
see.
behind. They're taking too much damage on structures. They need to win an objective. They need to get a
Oh,
kill.
gee, what were you doing? Hold on.
Starting to trail behind.
Oh, he just recalls into the enemy team.
Fight that matters for the Fanclub.
That is like the thing that I'm noticing is that Rutzou, I'm just guessing how you say his name. He just recalls at like really unnecessary times.
Starting to trail behind it. Now down towards the bottom.
And so here, let's look at this. So he recalls to avoid bone prison, right? When first of all, the reason that he was in this predicament was because he was going in for a full burst combo on a literally 100% health Vala.
Please soak the next talent.
Like, look at this. Which again, you can do if you're pulse rounds, but if you're quantum spike, you're just wasting critical bomb time right here. Especially if that Vala's gloom, meaning she has spell armors, this is going to do very little damage.
He got the kill.
So anyway, so they try to go in and blow up a full health Vala, and then they get bone prison for it, and they're going to get bone prison way over here next to their team, like, or at least deep. And then they can recall once the enemy team starts to go in on them, but instead they recall into the enemy team
Win an objective. They need to get
and then necessitate the leap of faith from their teammate. Like, that recall was super unnecessary, and it forced a really long cooldown, an 80-second cooldown, I believe, from Henning.
God, Yubi wants it.
So I'm just seeing overall like a lot of wasted recalls, and this used to be a bigger problem with Old Tracer when recall was a 30-second CD and it was a more effective ability. Now it's a way less effective ability because it takes you out of the fight for so long and it's so easy to play around now. But it's still a big problem here if you're recalling for no real benefit. You are greatly holding yourself back, and I think I'm seeing that here
Great walks away.
because now they just don't have leap of faith for effectively no reason.
Mosh got interrupted before even the wind-up happened there with the light on left. Every throw is burned. The Mosh is available. They find Jada. Oh, no.
Let me see.
Interrupted before even the wind-up happened there with the
Looking at
light on left. Every
Rutzou
throw is
here.
available. They find Jada. Oh,
They're just
no.
kind of burning the thing on the side. Teammate got picked off. Not a lot to say.
Flows are coming through, and just look at the numbers. 38 to 28. They take another
Guys, I just want to point out something. When I watched this live, this right here, I just now realized when I watched this live, I was like, what does Riggins mean? I literally asked myself that. I was like, should I know Riggins? Is that a person? Oh my god. And now I'm realizing this is the Method logo. It's Origin. Thank you, Brain. Alrighty. Let's see here. Skip ahead a little bit. Hold on. What's actually... he just walks away in mid. Alright. What is this? This is why I wish I had the replay so I could watch this myself. So again, he just goes in on like a full health Poik who has bone armor or whatever it's called, bone shield up, and accomplishes nothing. Like, the quantum spike pick could have been good this game, but like, he's just using pulse bombs as poke and like kind of just throwing him out for no reason on targets that won't die when he doesn't need self-heal. Because like, you throw a bomb to either give yourself a blink with pulse gen, to give yourself self-healing with pulse gen, or to kill somebody, and like, these bombs aren't doing any of those. And now he just gets farmed by Chris here. No, Jumper's actually gonna buy him some time. Tell me you don't actually die here. Oh my god, dude. So this is what happens when you play like hella greedy for no reason. Yeah. So again here, like, you can't 100 to O a Gloom Vala. You're not gonna 100 to O Zalia, you're not gonna 100 to O Chris, and that's the only reason you would dive the backline like this, is if you could literally get a kill. Like if you can just chunk somebody, like, no. And so Breeze responds to this. He's forced to recall to get out.
On point with these
Recalls away.
He wants it. Oh, shoot. Gonna Rutzou get away? Body shot. Frost shot to Rutzou. Blink one more. The chase is real. The game's ending.
Like, they're just diving for no reason.
Breeze caught out a little bit of a slow there, but does stay alive.
Like, I haven't seen this game, by the way, guys. Like, I just want to make that clear. Like, I didn't watch this game already.
Will fall here. Just can they push further? Can they pick up kills?
Like, that was a dive for no reason. And what I wish people would realize is that Tracer doesn't have to start fights off by diving. You can just, like, do chip damage on the sides. Like, if you just dive in like that, all that's ever going to happen if you dive in on full health targets is you're going to blow all your cooldowns, accomplish absolutely nothing, and then either you get out and you traded all your cooldowns for nothing, or you die. Like, those are the only two outcomes that happen when you dive in like that on 100 health, like full health targets.
They're gonna grab. Leo goes down, but Johanna killed in exchange.
Yeah, Johanna's down as well. I don't think they can go deep. Oh, actually, that's a jump, and that's a kill as Andrew gets also eliminated. Bone Prison against Shane as they're moving in. By now, the ice prison is actually there, so they are able to.
I don't know. I just feel like so much of this person's play could be improved if, like, every time they're about to do something, they just ask, like, does this help me win the game at all? Like, does this accomplish literally anything? And I feel like so many of these, like, dives and pulse bombs would have been, like, avoided. Because, like, a lot of these accomplish literally nothing. Or, like, even worse, put him in danger or, like, necessitate cooldowns from his team. Because we see that nearly every single fight so far. We saw that at minimum the last two fights. With the dive for no reason. And then over here, the diving Vala for no reason again. When she has Gloom, which is spell armor, right next to her team. I don't know. Like, none of the bombs have any purpose behind them.
Play it safe. Last dance. They are in position to take this game at number 1. Right now, all they have to do is not mess it up.
Blaze and Joe had a decent setup if Ritz waited for the peels. Do you think they would have won that engagement? Like, when they were defending bot keep? I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it from the whole team's perspective. I was mostly focusing on Tracer. I do think that regardless of that, the best play to make would have been to go for chip damage on the side. I think he panicked TBH because he didn't get the value from Tracer that he was hoping to get, I guess. But the thing is, like, you're talking about panic Aristocon, but this is the way most people just play Tracer. Like, most people, I'm talking including HGC players, literally played Tracer to go in, throw your full combo on someone that's full health, not kill them, recall. Now you have no pulse bomb and no recall, and you're just an auto attack machine for the rest of the fight until maybe the end of the fight you've built up another pulse bomb and maybe you have another recall at the very end. Like, this was Lutano's, like, preferred approach to playing Tracer. Like, when he was doing that, he was playing Tracer the way he wanted to play. And he was considered the best Tracer in North America by a lot of HGC players. And, like, I'm seeing the exact same thing here. Like, that is exactly what I'm seeing out of Rutzou. That mindset of just going in, full comboing someone who's full health, accomplishing nothing, you're now useless for the rest of the fight. And that's why I think, like, I don't know. Like, I don't even legitimately, like, I don't even think that I'm, like, crazy mechanically on Tracer. I just think that I understand that you don't need to full combo full health people, and I know matchups. Like, I feel like that's all I know, and that's enough to make me, like, really feared on the character. I don't know. What was that? Okay, I'm looking at Rutzou here. Double blinks, triple blink. Okay, again. Like, I literally ask, like, so, yeah, this pulse bomb hit this, like, siege camp, but, like, what value is gained from if this hits Chris? Legitimately, like, what actually happens? Like, say the melee hits Chris, say the pulse bomb hits Chris. I'm pretty sure melee does because he's bullet spray. Yeah, so melee right here hits Chris, and pulse bomb doesn't. But even if the pulse bomb lands, literally nothing changes about the outcome. Like, Chris still heals to full, and that play was doomed to fail. Like, do you guys see what I'm talking about? I see you, Hydra. I'm not trying to flame this guy in particular. I'm trying to flame the way everybody plays Tracer. Like, I just want to make that clear. Like, this person is embodying, like, what is wrong with the way, like, everyone plays Tracer. Like, literally everybody plays Tracer, just full combo people at full health and accomplish nothing. Yeah, I don't even know what that was. Let's see. So you've got no recall. You blink in, and then, yeah. That, like, and that's what I mean. That's why blowing recall when you don't need to is so disastrous, is because you can't be defensive without recall, and you also can't be offensive. You know, I get you. Like I'm not trying to disagree with you guys. Like I'm just making it clear that it's not about this guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to make that clear. Like I appreciate you guys adding context too. But like if you blow recall when you don't need to, then all of a sudden you can't be defensive nor offensive. You're literally just an auto attack machine, basically. And we saw that exactly right there. He tried to make a play and then realized, oh, I don't have recall, I don't have anything. Tried to blink out and just died. It's the exact same thing here.
Nearly falls to the keep itself, but this is going to be the end of the keep. Maybe even the end of the game if they can get a few more kills. They go for Lauber, they go for Jana. And they might even...
And it looks like this game might end. Yeah, game ended before Tracer respawned there. So yeah, guys, like, I want you to think about that. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to think about Tracer as in just the two main things are just, is this pulse bomb that I'm throwing, like, is it going to change anything? Am I using this for one of three reasons? Am I getting a pulse bomb? Like, as in, am I getting a kill? Sorry, am I getting a kill? Am I healing myself? Or am I getting a blink charge? Like, and you have to need one of those things for the pulse bomb to be worth. And almost every single pulse bomb there did not fulfill any of those three categories. Everyone? No, legitimately. Like, I have beef with, like, how almost everyone played this character. And I think that we saw a lot of that there. I don't think there were any other Tracer games in this series. Yeah, it looks like there's no Tracer here. But basically, let me look back at that again, because I talked about how I didn't like bullet spray. I think that honestly, you can go heavy-handed or you can go ricochet this game, and they're both significantly better than bullet spray. Heavy-handed would help you with killing the tanks, especially ETC. Taking them from 25 to 10 armor is huge. But it may overlap with Jaina's minus armor at level 16. That very often is the pick and coordinated. So if Jaina goes minus armor, then you don't want to necessarily have 2 minus armor, so I could see why you wouldn't want to go it there, and Ricochet could be good, because this team cannot stop you from just free auto-attacking as Tracer. Like, if you literally go Tracer rounds at 1, Jumper at 13, Ricochet at 16, and just dance around the enemy team and just constantly auto-attack one of these two tanks, the enemy team can do literally nothing about it. If they try to power slide you, you blink away. If you're at max range, you should be able to blink power slide. If they try to entomb you, you can blink out of entomb. You can legit blink over entomb's walls. If they try to rain you, it's not going to kill you. Like, if they try to bone prison you, you blink away. Like, literally nothing they have can stop you from just permanently auto-attacking. So, like, I think Ricochet could have been really good there. I think that Heavy-Handed could have been really good with bursting people with this team's incredible burst potential. Like, I don't know. As soon as I learned about Marco, picked up Tracer to try to put together the pieces, think about what do you do in this situation. It helps me a lot. Oh, thank you, Risticon. If you're down, like, I'm down to do replay reviews, although I'm trying to move those into, like, a paid thing. So we'll see how that goes. Alrighty. So yeah, that's probably the build I recommend. I don't know if I'd say Tracer Rounds, because Tracer Rounds is very good in the late game when you, like, can really abuse it with Ricochet, and you can really appreciate that extra 0.5 range, but in the early game it wouldn't do a lot. This game I would probably say for like a very easy way to win this game, I think Lauber's Fanclub with just modifying Rutzou's play could have won this game. If he goes 1-2 punch at 1, which he did, into Jumper 13, which he did, into Ricochet at 16, which he did not, and played that play style, I think this game could have gone the other way.